Hey guys, I hope you're doing fantastic throughout these summer vacations. And today, you know what time it is? It is the time for us to share with you what is my full investing portfolio update for the month of August of 2026. So in this video, after taking a look at the different individual positions and ETFs that I have in my portfolio, you'll discover all the different sectors that are the most represented in terms of my assets allocation. And then you'll see how much money I've been able to make over the past month of July from my dividend income, and at the end of the video you'll find all the different transactions that I've made over the past month of July. Without losing too much time, one of the largest sectors of my portfolio, as you must know, is the technology sector, where you can see that I still hold some of the biggest technology companies in the world, such as Apple, Meta, Google, Amazon, and Tesla, as well as the semiconductor company Micron Technology that has been a recent addition to my portfolio and that has been crushing it lately in terms of its unrealized gain. And overall, the technology sector over the past couple of months and years has also been pretty profitable for the investors, where you can see that most of these companies are quite significantly up compared to the average price that I've paid for them. And at the same time, those 6 individual companies are all worth a big portion of my assets each, except obviously for my recent addition in Micron Technology. When it comes to another well-represented sectors in my portfolio, it is the energy field, where I both hold 2 of the largest Canadian energy companies, which are Enbridge and Pembina. And in the case of Enbridge, it is also one of my biggest positions in my portfolio with about 10% of my assets. And in the case of Pembina, what is extremely well is their unrealized gain of over 150%. So obviously, this is only about the unrealized gain or losses that I haven't cashed out yet, but these 2 companies are also providing some great dividend income on a quarterly basis. Talking about 2 other companies that have been well growing lately and that are also distributing some great quarterly income, they are into the financial sector, so the Toronto Dominion Bank, as well as the largest insurance companies in Canada, Manulife. So both of these companies are worth a significant chunk of my total assets, and at the same time, these companies are also gigantically up compared to the average price that I've paid for these shares. Another great Canadian company that I like to have in my portfolio is the consummation business Couche-Tard, that is currently worth about 4% of my assets and that currently has some unrealized gain of about 62%. I also have a smaller Canadian company, which is the materials business Savaria, which basically specializes into the construction and the manufacturing of wheelchair and stair lift for older people. And for this company that is distributing great monthly dividends to their shareholders, you can see that I'm quite significantly up as well, of close to 92% compared to my average price. In terms of the only real estate company that I'm holding into my stock portfolio, it is the REIT Raucan, which is currently worth about 4.5% of my assets, and that isn't really fluctuating in terms of its value by having some unrealized gain of about 40%. The only reason why I'm still holding to this company is the fact that it is distributing some great monthly income. But nevertheless, over the next couple of months, I might be tempting to sell a few shares of it. And finally, my biggest performer of these past couple of months and years, but also my smallest position in my portfolio, is the 5 & Plus company, which is currently worth only 1.5% of my assets. But you can see that it is currently worth over 596% compared to the average price that I've paid for these shares. Now, when it comes to the exchange trade funds section, you can see that the largest position that I have in my portfolio is the Vanguard S&P 500 Index ETF with the ticker VFV. Indeed, this fund currently represents more than 12% of my assets, and at the same time, I currently have some unrealized gain of close to 80% on the average price that I've paid for these shares. In my RRSP, I also have a few shares of its US equivalent for tax purposes, which is currently worth about 1% of my assets, and that has currently some unrealized gain of about 13%. Now, to track the global stock market to include different markets such as Europe and Asia, I have decided to invest into the iShares Core Equity Portfolio ETF with the ticker XEQT. On its part, this fund that is currently worth about 4.39% of my assets is currently up about 46% compared to the average price that I've paid for these shares. Eventually, for this fund, as well as for different other ETFs, I want to be able to increase my ponderation in them over the next couple of months and years, at least to reach about 15 to 20% of my assets in XEQT. And at the same time, another ETF that I want to increase my ponderation in it is the Canadian ETF tracking the Great Canadian Market, which is the iShares S&P TSX ETF with the ticker XIU. At the moment, this ETF currently has about the same ponderation as for XEQT, but the difference is that it currently has about 15% more of unrealized gain. In my RRSP, I also still hold a few shares of the famous Schwab US Dividend Equity ETF with the ticker SCHD. So this fund that is only worth about 2% of my assets is also only worth about 11% more compared to what I've paid for these shares. And finally, my liquidity reserve, which is essential for a real estate investor just like me, is held into the Global X High Interest Savings Account ETF with the ticker CASH. As I mentioned, this liquidity reserve is especially important when you decide to invest in real estate, to be able to have money aside if you need to pay different expenses that are not necessarily expected. And at the moment, you can see that I currently have only about 6% of my assets in this ETF, but eventually I want to be able to re-increase this cash liquidity to at least 15 to 20%. And so all of this makes that my investing portfolio is currently worth about $225,000. So this represents some current unrealized profit of about $100,000 or some gain of about 80%. Here we have a closer look at my ETFs portion of my portfolio, where it is currently worth slightly less than $67,000 with some profit of slightly less than $20,000. So with no surprise, it makes that the ETF portion is currently the biggest portion of my investing portfolio by having about 30% of my assets, which is closely followed by the technology sector with about 26% of my assets. Then the third and fourth largest sectors are still the financial sector and the energy sector, with companies such as Enbridge and Pembina, as well as TD and Manulife. And finally, we find the other different sectors such as the consumption sector, the material sector, the real estate sector, as well as the other sector. For the dividend income that I've been able to generate in July, you can see that this number is quite lower compared to the average that I've been generating over the past couple of months, but this payout has mainly came from the payout of ETFs such as VFV and Cash, as well as the payout of certain companies such as Raocan, Savaria, as well as the TD Bank. So this brings my total year-to-date income that I've been able to generate completely passively from my dividend investments to about $2,634. Here you have a closer look at what are the different transactions that I've made over the past month, where I've been re-increasing my cash liquidity and where I've also bought multiple positions in ETFs such as XIU, XEQT, and VFV. But now on your side, if you're looking to discover what is my investing strategy that I have adopted for the rest of 2026, well, check out the video that is going to be right over here, and I will see you soon. Peace.